The point is, if you have a very valuable dataset and you want to expose the dataset to the world, and those who want to query the dataset have been given your API, and you have the most efficient, memory efficient program in place, basically you can run a company for under few bucks a month using serverless, at least in the beginning of your company's phase. So this tutorial is all about how to host an API for free which has the minimal payload. So I'm going to take the same example whatever spring.io shows to how to deploy a RESTful service, how to develop a RESTful service. I'm going to take the same example, and apart from developing it, I'm also going to show how to deploy it using API gateway. So the visual flow is going to be like this. There will be a client, in this case your browser or a postman, and you're gonna hit a RESTful endpoint, a GET service, and you're gonna call the greetings verb, greetings resource in it. The GET verb is going to get executed, and when that happens, the API gateway internally calls a Java function. The Java function is going to return back this. It's going to take the input parameter, the query parameter, and it's going to give it back in the JSON, in this JSON format. So in future we can just develop this using DynamoDB or S3 integration if we want to do something with images or files, and I can show this, but for now this is just an idea. And for this I'm not going to pay anything because it is basically free. You are basically hosting a service for free. Try out any way you want, like you can go for DigitalOcean droplets, or you can go ahead and create Google buckets, or even if you want to choose Amazon S3 buckets and use them for hosting web applications. None of them are really cheap compared to whatever we are going to look at in this video. So this is just a eye-opener or a way where we can actually deploy a service basically for free when you have AWS as your cloud. Let's go ahead and start implementing this. The point is, instead of me explaining what I'm going to do, if you get a chance to just see what I'm right now doing, it'll be even more better. So I'm going to call a Lambda from API gateway, and let me choose it to be under document, workspaces, under my name. Okay, same name. Okay, so it's a simple Maven project. Enable auto import. I don't have any dependencies for now. I need two dependencies. I have them handy already. Two dependencies from AWS. One is for Lambda Java core, and another one is Java event. So let's copy here. The Java core is where it just packages all the good stuff for executing Java, Lambda function, and then Java events. We need events. Let me go ahead and talk about that in shortly. And then we need a build plugin that basically creates us a Uber jar. So I'm going to add a Maven shader plugin. And for testing a Lambda function, the Lambda function basically takes in two parameters. The first parameter is the parameter of your choice. Second parameter is the context object from Lambda. So I'm just jumping ahead. Let's go ahead and create and show what I'm talking about. So let me create a package first. The standards, and then I'm creating a Java class. Let me call it greeting class, and I'm going to have a method which will return the API response event, and I'm calling say hello to API gateway. As I said, this is a Lambda function I'm defining right now in front of your eyes. So the Lambda function defined by the API AWS, it takes two parameters. The first one is a parameter for my choice. So I'm going to choose request event because I'm going to forward a request from API gateway to this Lambda function. So I'm going to choose this handy object that we have that comes to us from the SDK. And then I'm going to just name it as a request event. And the second one is, by default, it must be a context object from Lambda. It holds a lot of stuff like logging and other metrics that can be derived from this, but we're not going to use it for now, but it's mandatory to have it in the method. And now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the name parameter value from the request. What is it? Query parameter, and the name I'm going to look for is name. That's the parameter we're looking for. And before that, let me define a default greeting string or a greeting string, and I'm going to name it hello serverless. And now I'm going to do a null check and empty check. So if I wish I have Google Juice here. If null is not equal to the name param value and empty equals name parameter value is not true, then I'm going to set the greeting string is equal to the incoming name parameter. So chuck name param value. Okay, now I have promised that I will be returning this, so I'm creating the object there, creating the response object. Let me go ahead and quickly create a Pojo for the response object. I'm going to create a greet Pojo, and it's going to have only one string in it, and it's going to be content. And I'm going to let me go ahead and generate the toString method. And I don't want this going to be a JSON. Okay. Let me go ahead here, and I'm going to create a new object of this type. So response event is equal to new AWS response event, and I'm going to set the body of the response event. And before that, let me create a greet object. Equal to new greet, and use object dot set content. Do I have it? Oh, I don't have the contents. Let me create the setter getter. Dot set content is the greeting string, and set body is the greeting object dot toString. And now what I have done here is I'm creating a default string named hello serverless, and then I'm trying to get a query parameter from the incoming request from API gateway in the name of name. And if it is not empty, I'm gonna show hello that name. And after I created this string, I'm going to create an object just to keep it easy. And then this is where I'm creating the object, and I'm going to return it. Return the response event. So we are pretty much done. Okay, let us test this out. And how we are going to test this now? We're going to go to Lambda. Let us go to the Lambda and create a function. And I'm going to give the name as hello, say hello to API gateway. And I'm going to choose the runtime as Java 8 runtime. I don't have existing role, I'm going to create a new role. There are no special permissions to run this. I don't need any Dynamo integration or any VPC integration, or I don't have any S3 integration. I'm going to give them like just like that role, and I'm going to create the function. This is just a definition, function definition. At this point of time, it cannot do anything. And the actual magic happens. So what I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just go ahead and build this. Maven clean install. I'm going to expect a target folder here shortly. There it is. This is what we want. And yeah, let us go here. And it is requesting us to upload the zip file or a jar file. So upload a file. Let us go here. What time is it now? 10:34. This is the jar I'm looking for. Uploading the jar. And this is important. So what is the package I have given? com.vom greeting. So com.vom.greeting, and in that execute the method say hello to whatever this is whenever I'm asking you to execute. I'm going to save this, upload. I'm going to go ahead and test this. Configure a test event. My test event is of type API proxy, and I'm requesting for query parameter. So without the name parameter, it is going to go and throw the message hello serverless. So let us give a name, test query para. We can have up to 10 test cases like this, and test query para, create, and let me go ahead and test this. Hello serverless. And now if I go ahead and edit it, and let me add a parameter named name, and let me give 2019. Let me save it and let us test it again. There you go. So basically our Lambda function is working as expected. So this is how you create a Lambda function using Java. So just instead of this, you can basically create a whole blown API. You can connect to DynamoDB, S3, and do whatever domain logic or business logic you want to do in this function by creating a lot of other packages right here, but just under this function. So you, instead of having a controller, this plays the role of the controller. If I want to give you a context between, comparing the RESTful service and the Lambda function. So this is basically a controller, is how you should imagine. And now we are done creating the Lambda function. Now let us go to the API gateway to invoke this function. So let us go to the API gateway and let us create a new API, and let us call it as greetings API. Just greets. Give it as a regional. It is not going to be a private. It is going to be open to the world shortly. Create the API, and if you see the guide, the resource, what it is calling a greeting resource. So I'm going to create a resource named greeting. Come on, greeting, right? Not plural. Okay. And then enable create the resource, and go to the greeting and add a method. We're going to do a get method. Okay, and we're going to call a Lambda function. When this URL is hit, we're going to call a Lambda function here, And we have written the Lambda function in such a way that it will be expecting a proxy request. So enabling the proxy, and what is the name? This is the name of the function we have there. Save, and we get a ARN. Now let's go ahead and test this get method. There is a small catch in the code what I haven't handled, because if the query parameter is completely empty, it is going to go throw null pointer exception right here in this line of code. So if this is null, if there are no query parameters, this is going to fail. So I need to send some dummy thing to show you both the cases. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send first of all I'll show you what is failing. It is failing. It will fail now. Intel server error. Let me go ahead and say foo and give something here and call. This will show you the hello serverless flow. So this is the content you got out. And the positive test case is name is 2019. If I throw that, the output will be hello 2019. And now for now what we have done is we created a resource name greeting, and we created a method of type get verb, and we said that we are going to call. You can see the map here. From the client, you're going to do a method request, and in the method request, the flow is going to do an integration request to a Lambda proxy. The Lambda proxy is basically a call to a method named say hello to API gateway, and we have enabled the Lambda proxy integration so that the request will carry this payload, API gateway proxy request event payload. And once that is done, the response comes back to the integration response, and we get the method response in the proxy, and we get back to the client. That's it. So as I showed you how it worked, two test cases. The first one is when no name parameter is present, it will just show you hello serverless. If there is a name parameter, it will show you whatever name was passed. And now we have created the API, but we have not deployed it. So let us go ahead and say that deploy the API, and we only need to create a new stage, and let us say the stage name is prod. We're going to productionize this API right now, and dummy production. Deploy, and once you deployed it, you get an endpoint. And now let us go to Postman, paste it, and we're going to call the greeting resource, the name parameter world, or say Java, send hello Java. When the name parameter is not there, you're going to get hello serverless. So you have actually deployed an API which is open to the world, and this doesn't really cost you anything. Look at the pricing. So if you make 5 million calls, you'll be charged $17.50, which is basically nothing. Because if someone is calling your service 5 million times, obviously you're making money out of it, unless you're giving data for free. And this is really the cheapest way you can do it. Let us go ahead and check the pricing of Lambda. Lambda is even more cheaper. So if you go to Lambda, there must be example. Yeah, here. Oh my God, see here. So for 10 minutes, if there are 10 million requests. So if your function is called 10 million times, and you used only 128 MB, I don't have to say anything here. See, for 10 million times and for 128 MB capacity, response time of 0.15, it's like 15 milliseconds, right? 50 millisecond response. If your algorithm is really fast, and really efficient, you can really deploy an API which will basically cost you only few bucks, and you can still run a startup company. That's how it means. That's what it means. So that's the whole story of how to deploy an API in minutes using a Lambda and API gateway. Thank you.